I attended a lot of time management classes, and they would tell me what I needed to do, but I never really received okay, I understand what I need to do. I need a written plan of action, but how do I do that? And then don't just tell me how, give me the tool to do that. So for this big crowd that has come online, I'm here to tell you that we already know what we need to do. I already know that I'm disorganized, that I need to prioritize my task. In this class, I'm going to share ideas with how you do that, but you also can download the tool to do it. So I ended up creating like 40 plus tools because I needed repeatable processes. So I'm going to kind of take this really one step at a time, because a to-do list really starts by repeating something day after day after day. And I do hope you'll take notes, but the easiest way to repeat something is to have a tool that you can repeat it on. So I created a daily progress report that is the tool, the framework of how I create my written plan. Now, let me preface that, and those of you that end up coming to these week after week, you'll hear this a lot, but it's always a good accountability reminder, is that if you have 10 or 15 or 20 things on your to-do list, and I could wave a magic wand over your to-do list and poof, all of the tasks could be done, my question to you would be, would it have made a difference in your life? Would it have made the lives of your family better? Would it have helped you really move into your own personal mission, into your own purpose of helping other people? Would it have made a difference? So we tie all of these things in the tool that you're going to learn about today. We tie it to personal goals. We tie it to what you value most in life, to how do you create a daily purpose about what you love to do at work. And this is a really big thing that I'm hoping to help solve, is that people are struggling with thousands of things swirling through your mind that create clutter. So we're going to solve some of those things today. So that's just the preface of what we're doing. Now, if you are going to continue on these classes, again, you can download things for free, but this is the tool I'm going to be going through in this series. It's called the 7-Minute Life Daily Planner. You can go get it at the 7minutelife.com/shop. And guys, we're selling it for $14.97. Books are not what are going to make us money. What's going to really help us grow our business and being able to scale the training. And so you do need a copy of this to really be able to follow along and to have these pieces. So I would encourage you to go to the 7minutelife.com/shop and invest less than $15 for yourself. I do want to warn you that with COVID, some of these books are taking 2 weeks to arrive. I cannot explain why. I ordered a case and it took, I want to say 14 days to get to me. So just letting you know, this is going to be the workbook that we'll be going through in this free series. So the daily planner, this is where it all starts. The 7-Minute Life has some very strong principles that I think will be backwards from what other people are teaching. My guess is you've come on this class to improve your time management, to increase your productivity, and to be more efficient. So when you woke up this morning, my question to you is, did you have a written plan? Because time is constantly moving forward. We're going to either have a written plan of action, or we are going to blink our eyes and the day is going to be over. We're going to have an ending point and life will have passed us by. So time management, our company is a time management training company, but that's not really what we do. We create awareness about time management. If you wake up in the morning, the only way you will know if you've had good time management is at the end of the day when you look backward on what you accomplished. The only way you're going to know if you've been productive is at the end of the day when you look backwards. So I hope you're drawing these graphs. The only way you're knowing if you are efficient is at the end of the day when you ask, was I efficient? Did I get the right things done? It's what we call backward looking. You know, that's what we do with our lives as well. We look backwards and we somehow put a value on it. Was it good or bad? Well, this has absolutely nothing but grace in it. But what I do want to say today, you will leave this webinar understanding how to create a plan of action that is intentional, that gives you a way to make choices, to put deliberate stakes in the ground. And the way that we do that is when we wake up in the morning, we are aware that the day is going to end. And what we do is we create a written plan of action at the start. So if you have written down what it is that's going to move you forward, that's forward looking. So planning is always forward looking. And you know, when I walk in, like, this is my plan for today. In fact, let me stop sharing. Oops, stop sharing. So this is my plan for today. I've already had several meetings, but the very first thing I do, and we'll be showing you this, is I date. This is an undated book, so I dated today for Friday, June 19th. And the very first thing that I do is I take 7 minutes to plan my day. First thing I do. Now, I've jumped straight from planning my day into classes. I've been teaching and taking classes, and I've got another one. But what I do is I start writing down everything. So you're going to see what I do. Not in any order, just writing things down, and then I'll prioritize them. So how does that work? And well, let me just kind of show you a little bit more. So this is my plan for today. This was yesterday. I had meetings in Little Rock all day, and then I had a pickleball tournament. So that aligns. This was the day before. I was teaching. But as you go backwards, the great thing about having a written plan, and I'd like some comments coming in this, is that I took my 7 minutes, I wrote down, it's backwards here, I wrote down what I needed to do, and then on this side, I executed it. So can you tell a difference in when I've made a plan and executed it? I think you can see that's a Sunday. Let me go backwards, Saturday. So these are the kind of days when I create a written plan of action. Wow, this was on the 11th, where you actually get things done. And you can see on that day, I was able to get a lot of things done. So without a plan of action, I have no idea of what I'm going to get done. But with a plan of action, I can make sure that things come through. So I'm going to take a breath. I want to make sure that you're understanding that a single sheet of paper, which you can download. Let me just get some comments while I take a sip of water. Take your time, and you know, if you're new to the 7-minute life, you're going to learn how to do this, but just put something in the comment that, yes, I have a written plan. Yes, I've used the 7-minute life. I want to get better at using the 7-minute life, or I need a plan of action. Let's see if some people will start commenting back as to why is this a problem? How would having a written plan of action help? Hey, Chip, how are you? Chip and I knew each other from days gone by. Not always, but I should do it daily. Well, me too, not always, but I should do it daily. Come on, I want some more people. I do, in the past, I have done a lot of mental planning where I didn't write it down, but writing it down is really important. So, all right, well, let's share the screen again and talk about how we now can get that done. Okay, so I'm gonna go here. So we talked about either being backward looking, which is what a lot of us do, or being forward looking, creating a plan of action. So here's my favorite thing. This is from Jim Rohn. He died a long time ago now, but he had 2 phrases that really inspired me. He said, there's a formula for failure. Pardon me. And he already knows what it is. And we live in it. We just make a few errors in judgment, repeat it every day. We know we need to be organized. We know we need a written plan of action. But for years, I lived under a formula of failure. I knew it. I just didn't know how to fix it. But he then went on to say, but there's a formula for success. And that formula for success is a few simple disciplines, just a few simple disciplines, and you're going to see why that only takes 7 minutes. But it's that repeated every day. It's that learning that skill of being able to do that day after day after day. Here's the theory of the 7-minute life. There are 24 hours in a day. As you're watching this, I think it's helpful to draw the circles and write in the material because there's some kind of a learning experience. So I would encourage you to just draw these 4 circles. The first circle is that there are 24 hours in a day. And that breaks down into 1,440 minutes. And I think you can now begin to see where this is going. What would happen to your productivity if you made a deliberate choice to take 1% of your time, which is 14 minutes a day, to think about what is most important, to think about your goals of what it is that you're doing for the whole year, to think about your goals that you need to accomplish today, to clarify how you're going to do that, to determine if today is the right day to do it. What would happen if you took 7 minutes in the evening to plan your next day and 7 minutes in the morning to recalibrate? It's a very powerful thing, 1%, but I will tell you, I've been doing this now 25 years, and I do it more often when I'm teaching these classes because I feel accountable. There's a huge part of accountability in this. You know, one of the reasons we're doing these weekly webinars is that when I'm accountable to other people, I feel some kind of sense of, hey, I did it. My friends are able to do it with me. So why is it important? Let's just say that you have 15 things on your to-do list. You know, you've just got some kind of list on an envelope or a piece of paper. And that looks like you could get it all done. There's some really big power of being able to mark things off your list. But let's take that list of 15 and let's put those 15 things visually into your 24 hours that you have today. So if this was my first task, I'm simply drawing a task into my day so I can have a visual view. So if you've drawn these circles, let's just pretend like we all have 15 things to do today. I want you to draw task number 1. Put the second thing into your day. Task 3, task 4, task 5, task 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. If you have 15 things in your day and now you're looking at this, you can see that we call it hitting, and we do it with an hourglass, but we think when you have 15 things, you end up hitting something that we call the choke point. Because you get to a place where you look at all the things you need to do and you become frozen, stuck. Well, this isn't really even true either. Think about the 50 emails that you've gotten today, or the 150 that you had yesterday that you needed to do, or every text message, or every piece of paper on your desk. It's this mental clutter. We have so many things that we could do. We're frozen. We're just absolutely frozen. I'd love to hear if this is something that really resonates with you. Do you need a written plan of action that can slowly dig you out of this? Would it be helpful to come in without 1,000 things to do, but with a few things? And don't just tell me how to do it, Allyson. Let me leave this webinar today with the tool to do it. So again, you should be able to go and download that. This is the daily progress report. I would encourage you to get the copy of the book, and somebody can put in how to get that. This is, again, this is not a moneymaker for us, $14.97. That's about what it costs us to print them. But inside this book are 90 pages, 90 blank pages of this. So instead of having to print them off, they're in the book. So let's walk through how you create a written plan of action. The daily progress report is called that because it's a daily habit. The only way that we'll really develop time management is through repeating it day after day after day. So there are 2 pages. This is just kind of an outline of what's on it. There are 2 different pages. There's the left page and the right page. So let's walk through those. The very first thing that I will do is I take ownership of the day. When I flip to a new page, I take ownership of the day and I say, okay, today is 06, what is today? The 19th of 2020. And even at that point, I kind of take a breath and I realize I'm going to be 60 July 7th. So happy birthday to me. But I don't want to blink my eyes and turn 70. I want to take ownership of every day and say today matters, and to be willing to take 7 minutes to plan out my day. So the very first thing I do is I put a date on it, and I do this daily. The next thing that I do is I create what is called a 5 before 11 list. This is the key to everything we're going to learn about today. This is the secret sauce. That is what has absolutely changed my life. And this is the simplest thing. You know, there's no, I mean, you can do this on a piece of paper. It is so simple and it makes such great sense. But as we learn this, this is the primary thing we're going to learn. You're actually going to get to take action on it. This is going to change your life. This is a life-altering box of information. So that's the 5 before 11. But because I want every single thing on my list, I was in sales. So let's say that you're in real estate sales or whatever it is that you're doing. Who are the people that you're going to connect? Rather than not having a plan, who are you going to intentionally talk to today? Would it be your grandmother? Would it be a prospect that you've had on the back burner for years that you wanted to just say, hey, today's the day? Well, we intentionally put down who we're going to connect with. This whole COVID thing has made us so alone. You know, I'm looking at my list today. You know, let's be intentional about doing that. The next set in this written plan of action is every time I finish something, like let's say that today on my 5 before 11 was teaching this webinar. Well, that's a to-do. It leads to unfinished tasks. So when you complete an action, it often leads to something you need to do. So after this webinar, I then have to record it. I'm sorry, I don't have to record it. I have to upload it to YouTube. And that takes, I don't know, 45 minutes or so. After the webinar, I also have to archive all these pieces. So what's on your list? And then do you have a specific place that you can put what you need to do to follow up with it? You want to make it all in one location. You know, Post-it notes are against the rules. Because if I film the webinar and I said, oh, I need to record it and posted a Post-it note on my computer, I end up with 30 Post-it notes on my computer. This, you can scratch this out. I was a stockbroker, so I knew that the more people I talked to, the more revenue I made. And I found out that the average financial advisor at that time, this was back in 1982, made 9 phone calls a day. Guys, that is 1 per hour. And so at 22, I thought, well, what if I made 2 calls an hour? And so I began to set a goal to make 18 calls. So I was in business. That's where all of this started, and that's why it was called Daily Contacts. Now, at that point, I had a very tangible concept, and that's why this is important. I clearly knew my goal in sales was to generate revenue. And I don't know, why do we hate saying in business that we need to make money in our business, whatever business you're in? But we have to generate revenue. Well, in order to know what generates revenue, we have to know what are the high value actions that generate revenue. Now, take it into whatever business you're in, or if you're a stay-at-home mom, what are the high value things that you need to get done day after day after day? So the first thing I knew is that I wanted to take ownership of my day. I then wanted to create a to-do list And let's say I had 20 things on my to-do list, I began to realize that that put me in a choke point. So if I can't do 20, I can do 5. And that's what became, what are the 5 highest value actions that I will make a commitment to accomplish before 11 a.m.? Let me say that again. Written plan of action. I had this on my desk. I'd take ownership of my day. I would set a timer for 7 minutes. I would, and still do, write down every single thing I could do. So you can see in my planner. Let me turn to a page. This is a great example. And also when I'm teaching, don't just show me how I should do it, but show me what it really looks like. So here's a great example. This was Thursday the 11th. When I was writing everything down, you can see I probably had 20 things. But then I began to prioritize them, and I ended up with only 4 things that I needed to get done. Great question, Martha. Yes, if I don't get to it before we get, remind me as we go through, because that's another key. Is she's asking, what is the difference between a high value action and a micro action? And we will, your important question. But we've got to get things out of our head. It's okay to have 20 things, but then you have to scale down and prioritize what are the 5 things. And so the reason that that is important is this. If I come into the day, I know I've got a lot of things I can get, that I could choose to get done. Let me go back one. I could choose to get done. We all have 20 things or 100 things that we need to do. I can't do this. If I have 20 things on my list at the first of the day, and I go back to bed at the end of the day with 20 things on my list because I was frozen, there's an emotional outcome to that. I feel bad. There's a huge sense of guilt. And somehow I think I can get 20 things done. Well, it's just not true. I may have 20 things to do, but knowing that, what are the 5 things I can get done? This is the big key, is having a repeatable action. Why is this so important? If I could accomplish 5 high value actions, and we'll show you what a micro action is in just a minute. If I could just do that for 1 week, just a week, 5 actions times 7 days, I'd accomplish 35 intentional, thoughtful, committed, high value actions that are leading me toward a specific goal. Let me take a breath here. And I know some of you are saying, well, I don't really need to comment on this, or you're not sure what to comment, but let's just take a breath. In my industry, I found out that the standard advisor made 9 outbound calls a day, 1 per hour. Well, as a stockbroker, I needed to build a business. I said, well, wow, if they're doing 1 per hour, why don't I do 2 per hour? But I had to have a plan. I came into the day with 20 things. I can't do 20 things. But what are the 5 things I can do to grow my business? And we have a lot of people say, do you mix work and business? Absolutely, we do. But typically I start with the 5 things. If I can do nothing else but accomplish these 5 things, and if they are high value, if I just did 5 things a week, just 5 things times a week, 35 things. So I would really love to have some comments coming in. It's funny, we're halfway through this and we've got more people coming in. So I think some of y'all are inviting your friends. I'm excited about that. But it gets better. This book is a 90-day platform. It has 90 pages of this in there. And people say, why not a year? Well, it'd be too heavy to carry around. But also because business works in 90-day days. You know, we work in quarters. And so I wanted to be able to plan in a 90-day. But if you did 5 high-value activities for 90 days, you'd accomplish 450 high-value actions in the next quarter. We're about to hit July. what would happen if you accomplish 450 thought through high value actions before the next quarter ends? And then further, what if you have a team of 10 people and you could downstream this common language of 5 before 11? Hey, what's on your 5 before 11? If you could get everybody on a common page with repeatable habits, now your team is accomplishing 4,500 high value actions. And because it's in a book, I can go back and look. And so it's incredibly helpful. So I'm going to give you a chance to do this. I'm going to go back here. And whether you have this piece of paper or not, and I'm getting great questions, Martha, another great question. Jay, you're asking, I have a much longer list of things to do on a piece of paper. How many apart from high value should I put in the planner? This is a great question. I'm going to be teaching a class. Let's see if this is an old one or a new one. This is a new one. I'm going to be teaching a class exactly on that question. Again, we've tried to put real tools in here. If you have the planner, if you can go to page, it's either, again, we did a reprint. If you can go to page 24 or 20, Jay, I think this will answer your question. The list that I have of things at the first of the quarter, I sit down and write down everything. I do a mental, here's everything I have not gotten done. And it turns into this. There's not one page with 30 things available. There is a second page. So now I have 60 things that I didn't get done. And then there's a third page in the planner where I now have 90 things that I didn't get done. And then there's a fourth page. So this is the much longer list, and you have to have that in a place. And then in the class where I teach this unfinished work, that's how we'll walk through how to get rid of that. So Jay, does that help? I'm retired, so don't you have many calls to make? Yep. So we're going to go through right now and talk about getting you to do this. So if you don't have a planner, if you don't have the daily progress report, just grab a sheet of paper. And if you do have the daily planner, you know, when I created this, we didn't have Outlook. So I literally wrote my appointments here, and voicemail was new. We thought it was really cool. So grab a piece of paper, and we're going to actually go through the process, and you're going to be writing down your to-do list. So let me get through all this. Again, that 5 before 11, defining those things. And this is one last piece at the bottom of this page. I know you probably can't see it, but at the bottom of the page, I wanted to get more than just things done. I put some psychological triggers down here. You know, am I drinking enough water? How much sleep am I getting? I require 8 hours of sleep. So many of these things are what I call binary. They are either a yes or no question. And they often fall on our shoulders. Did I get enough sleep? It's a yes or no. Did I exercise? Yes or no. And it was the first time I've ever played pickleball. So yes, I exercised. Did I take time to pray or reflect or think about what my day was going to be? It's yes or no. Did I read something? It's yes or no. Right now I'm listening to Hidden Figures about the mathematicians from NASA. What did I eat? Yesterday I didn't eat enough healthy things. You know, even what you spend. Bottom line on these psychological triggers, the only thing I really care about is sleep. For me is important, but did I do my 5 things? If I just did 5, the answer is yes. I did what I'd say I would do. So as you're creating your to-do list that we're about to do, this, Jay, back to your point, this is kind of the list of everything I could do. I mean, this is what causes the mental clutter is, oh, I didn't do this one 2 years ago, or I've still got a library book that needs to be returned, or that closet has been filthy forever. And it takes up our mental space. We don't have enough mental volume, I guess, to be able to do this. So it really does start with getting all that out of your head, but there are only a few things that are really going to move you toward your goal. So as you're thinking, as we about take you into the 7-minute life where you're going to experience it, I want you to think about what is your goal, not for your life, but what is your goal for today? If you can't get all of these dots done, are there a few, even now that it's 12:30 Central, are there just a few that you could say, yeah, this is really important. This task is going to move me forward toward a goal. And also, it will be meaningful. It'll be meaningful whether it's hard or easy, but just because I get it marked off my list, it can be meaningful. So let's do this thing. All right. You've got this theory of the 7-minute life. We're going to now take an exercise. We're going to take 7 minutes. So if you join the call during this 7 minutes, you're going to think, ooh, there's nothing going on. But I'm physically going to set my timer for 7 minutes. I want you to pull out a piece of paper. It does not, if you don't have the daily planner, that's fine. I created a repeatable process because I wanted to use the same piece of paper every day, and it makes me happy. It makes me happy to take ownership of my day. It makes me happy to do this. So scratch out, if you have the planner, daily contacts, and these are going to be the actions completed. So when people don't have calls to make, it's going to be what you actually did. So this is completed. Now, because we don't really have a ton of appointments, I want you to use this side as your to-do list or some simple piece of paper. During the 7 minutes, you're going to write down the things that you think you need to do. You're going to create a to-do list. But what most of us do is we create a don't forget to-do list. And that's okay too. We have things that we don't let me forget to do that. So you 7 minutes, I want you to write down either on a blank sheet of paper or on the planner, if you're already using the planner, everything you need to do. And so I used to just stop there and tell people, okay, go do that. Well, there's a process. The first thing before I give you the 7 minutes is I want you to look at your calendar. And this was a couple of years ago, but I had a 9 to 9:30 thing I needed to do. I had a hour and a half. So this was a 30-minute project. This was an hour and a half project. And this was a 1-hour lunch meeting. So I want you to write down the meetings that you have. First step, when I'm looking at it, I look at my calendar and I say, what meetings do I have? So when I set the timer for 7 minutes, I want you to look at your calendar. I want you to look backwards to what you said you were going to do, and I want you to look forward to next week. So the very first thing we're going to do is start with, what are these pre-scripted, and boy, that's a dangerous word when I work with companies. Pre-scripted, our companies sometimes will pre-script, tell us we have to do things for up to 7 hours a day. And so we're in meetings all this time, and then you're thinking, well, when am I going to get those 20 things done? So first thing I want you to do is look at your calendar. We're creating an app right now, which is very exciting. This is a screenshot from the app. So I'm going to take you through the process of how these are going to help you. The 7-minute life has a lot of scientific background. We want to frame our day, and not only do we want to plan for it, but we want to prime our day. That's all a to-do list is it primes you for what you need to do. So in about 30 seconds, I'm going to set a timer for 7 minutes. I'm going to leave this up. To create your plan, I want you to look at the projects that you have in progress. Right now I'm building the app. I am possibly going to go into some additional fundraising. We've raised $875,000. We may raise a little smaller amount of capital. I'm also trying to get these webinars out there. So, I'll have another one next week. So those are my projects. I want you to go backward and look at the to-do list that you've had in the past. That's why this is so important, is because I can flip page by page back and see what I didn't get done. That's important. And then I look at what I did get done. I look at my meetings. Every piece of paper on your desk is a to-do list. Sometimes we think if it's in front of us, we will remember to do it. But look at every piece of paper and ask, is this something I need to do today? Look at your voicemail and your text messages, your emails. But these are the two things that I want you to think through as we do this. What is your goal for today? And then I want you to, during the 7 minutes, list everything Doesn't matter if it's high value, low value, or don't forget. I want you to put everything down. And then the last step as we're going through this 7 minutes is, out of all of the things I could do, what am I going to make a commitment to do? Okay, I'm going to look at the chat. Is everybody with me? Because I'm about to start. Can we see yes? Because this is kind of a beginner class. Everybody kind of know what we're doing. You get a sheet of paper out. We're going to look at a calendar. Jay, you need to call me because there's so many good ideas. Saul. All right, ready. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave this up on the screen so you can kind of walk through it. I'm going to set a timer for 7 minutes. It's going to seem like an hour and a half. And because it seems so long, it is a half of 1% of your day. I'm going to give you a prompt after 4 minutes have passed. And I want you to look at your computer. I want you to look at your desk. I want you to think. But it is a really long time. So at 7, I'm going to set my timer for 7 minutes. I'm going to give you a prompt after 4 minutes. And don't stop. It's a lot of times at the 6 minutes and 30 seconds that I remember, oh, that's the person I need to call, or that's the thing. So piece of paper, I've got the timer for 7 minutes, ready, go. 4 minutes. Only 4 minutes have passed. You still have 3 minutes. Okay, I'm going to stop. All right, so Solomon, yes, you can buy the planner in a digital PDF form that you can print off at home. Just reach out to me to do that. I'll actually, I guess, I've been putting my cell phone number out on these screens because this is my purpose and passion. So Solomon, stay on the call for just a few minutes. But how many things did you end up with? Jay, thanks for being so straightforward. Jay may win the prize. He had 35 things that he had written on his list, or maybe he had another list. Am I muted? No, I'm not muted. So y'all can hear me, right? Just making sure. Okay, so great. Yolanda, 33. It's amazing, really, how long it takes. 14 things. Nanette, how many things did you really have on your list? 15. Can hear you, but not seeing the attendees' comments. I think all you have to do is hit chat up at the top and open the chat button. It may be at the bottom. You should be able to see everyone else's comments. 32 things, 30 things. Dale, let me know if you can see the comments. Can everyone else see the comments? We're all still getting used to using Zoom. Now I want to ask a question. Was it, yeah, make sure you are, oh, you're not sending it when you see all panelists? Oh yeah, you have to do all panelists and attendees. More stuff written in the 41. Yep, I get it. I get it. I'm there with you, Patricia. You and I are soul sisters. Did you think the 7 minutes was a long time or a short period of time? Short. That's long. Short or long? Short. Depends. Short. It felt long. Long. Felt like a lifetime. 16 that made the list, but most long. Homeschooler, mom of 4. Well, you win the prize. I don't know how you do that. God bless you for doing that. We are going to run out of time today, and I had made some promises that we would be able to talk about high value, low value tasks, and we're just not going to have time to do that today. So let's end. Do you have questions? I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to go back to the first. Let me go back all the way back, kind of give you a review of where we've been. I think that'd be a better use of our time at this point. So today, and if you will, kind of let me know if we accomplished what you were hoping to accomplish. I hope I've helped you really, truly learn how to create a written daily plan of action. I do believe that what we do is different and that we don't just give you concepts, but we give you a tool to do that, which makes me very happy. You can download this. This is the second class of a series of how to actually use the daily planner. And I would recommend, if you're going to continue to join us, you're going to probably want to get a class binder and do that. Dale is asking some great questions. You make a full list and only transform 5 of these. I just love it. Can't go without it. Oh, Rose, she's been actually in one of our classes. So you got to know me a little bit more. We can move through that. There is a lot more to this. How to use the 7-minute life daily planner could take years to really learn how. But today we talked about just the tool and primarily about the 5 before 11. I would recommend you get a planner. It's important to have the workbooks and the tools. We talked about time management is backward looking, but being intentional, putting a stake in the ground and just coming up with 5 things is forward facing. We talked about simple disciplines. It took you 7 minutes to come up, and either you felt great about it or you feel this, oh my goodness, I'm still in the choke point. That's why we're going to continue to do these classes. It's a very simple concept, but I will tell you, until you have the ability to build the habit, it sounds easy, but it takes a lot of time. We talked about taking ownership of your day, that the 5 before 11, if we come away with nothing else, that's what we can do. We talked about all these other things. I'm skipping through that. 5 before 11. Did I do what I said I would do today? Rose, but thank you. 7 minutes, blah, blah, blah. Look at your calendar. This is new material, is that we found out people don't even really know how to think about their day. And so we really broke that down. I think that's very helpful. We are coming out with an app, which will be fun. This is the desktop version, which is going to be awesome. You'll even be able to drag and drop and create your own blocks of what you want to be in here. So if you don't want daily connections and you don't want what I spent, you could add, what am I grateful for today? I mean, it's going to be great. A lot of good things are coming. Bottom line is, your daily plan doesn't require to get everything done. It really matters that you get the most important things done. Now, this is where we were going to go into the micro action versus the high value action. I am going to end with this. These classes we're doing for free. I'm probably going to do them every Friday at the same time, but they're recorded. They're going to be on YouTube. How you can really help the 7-minute life is to tell your friends. When you get that email from me to invite you, share it with your friends. We have a lot of realtors that are coming on the class. We would love to have sponsors for these. Our sponsorships are like $500 per class, and we'd love to have people sponsoring them. So if you're interested in coming alongside of us and helping us, here, I guess I should put my phone number up here. Call me, and anyone can call me, but this is my personal cell phone number. I've decided 897-4494. This is truly, I can't spell, 4494. I really need partners and advocates to come along, both financially and also just to be that sounding board. We have a street team that just, they love what we're doing. But these classes that we had planned to teach were online. I mean, we're live. I'd come to your place and do a live class for a day and a half, but then we'd have 7 live calls with peer-to-peer learning where we're face-to-face on Zoom. These classes are limited to 12 to 15 people. Well, I can't go live online right now or live on site. So we're just teaching these classes, but we've extended them to a little bit longer. If you want to be part of 12 people, it's $9.97 a person for 7 weeks. I would love for you to do that. This is, you know, the profit center for our company. I'm laying things out here, which is great, but we want people to tell. If you're the head of a team, if you lead a team, we'd love to have 12 people sign up just for one class. You know, a lot of conferences have been canceled. They can't go, so people have budget money from their conferences and they want to have this interaction, except it's not a one-way street in the classes. It's actually us all, you know, looking at each other and talking, and we have a lot more time to do that. These are that's a picture of Zoom right there. Whoop. And that is my notice that we are going over time. So this is the syllabus. We won't have time to go through that. It's very powerful. I'm teaching it for the Pasadena City College right now. I just won't have time to go through it, but we have 2 classes. One starts on my 60th birthday, July 7th. It's on Tuesdays. It goes for 7 weeks and it's $9.97. The next one is September the 1st. So I hope to see you next week. This has been amazing. This is just great. I thank you that so many people are here. Yolanda, the app should be available in about 8 weeks. There's a lot of moving parts. We're updating all of the website. I hope you can make it. If you're not on our mailing list, we don't even have a place to be on our mailing list. So I think that's terrible, isn't it? You have to text me or, I don't know, ask your friends. We'll try to do a better job where you can actually, you know, sign up for our mailing list. I guess I should put, email me here. We're not very efficient yet, are we? I love teaching. I'm not very good at selling or letting people know. 7minutelife.com. If you want to be invited to the next class, shoot me an email. I'm going to leave that up there for just a minute. I know we've run over, so I'll stop the recording, but are there any questions? I'll just leave it open for just a minute. Dale, send me an email that you'd like the PDF version. It's $9.97 because we don't have to print it. So if you will, shoot me a text at 897-4494. I have a class that I'm actually taking at 1 o'clock. So where can you find out more about the high value micro actions? I think that I will do that next week. We have classes on that. Martha, reach out to me, shoot me a text, and I'll try to point you in the right direction. So any questions, comments? We still have a ton of people on here. Wonderful, will do. Y'all, I love this. I appreciate it so much. Help us spread the word. Every Friday, be here, same time. And I'll see you then. All right. Thanks, guys. I'll see you next Friday. Bye.